Hello guys, and welcome as always to Let's Talk About It. On today's episode, I've got some alleged creepy true stories from outer space. So when you're looking for confirmation about spine-chilling stories from the cold vacuum of space, who better to get that confirmation from than astronauts themselves? Because, of course, there is nobody more qualified to talk about this subject than the people that have actually been to space. So the first of these astronaut-told stories is called The Space Snake, and it was originally told by Franklin Story Musgrave, which, I might add, is a very fitting middle name for this kind of video. American-born Musgrave is a man with an incredible list of achievements and credentials under his belt, but his most relevant achievement is the fact he was a NASA astronaut. And whilst there are many stories we could tell about Story Musgrave, the story of the Space Snake is probably one of the freakiest. Because Musgrave claims that, on a mission to space, he saw a 6 to 8 foot long, rubbery, serpent-like creature that moved in a wave formation and followed his ship for a very long time. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to be in space would be crazy enough as it is. It would be both amazing and terrifying all at the same time. You throw in being chased by basically an alien, you're going to have some sleepless nights over that. Whilst Musgrave is a firm believer that alien life exists, he freely admits that what he saw could quite easily have been some space junk, or perhaps a rubber seal that had come away from his ship. And that would be a plausible explanation if it wasn't for the fact that Musgrave claims to have seen this space snake not once, but twice on 2 entirely separate missions. And what gives the story even more chilling authenticity is the fact that he photographed this unidentified object, or this alien creature potentially. And there have been numerous sightings over the years from various sources, including NASA, which also claim to have seen or to have photographed or to have filmed galactic or space snakes. Which basically means that if you've got a phobia of snakes, even getting into a rocket, going up to space, and then floating about, you may still encounter a snake. So either Musgrave on 2 separate occasions saw the same piece of space junk moving in a wave formation, or Franklin Story Musgrave really was stalked by an alien serpent. The next story for you is titled The Knock. In 2003, PLAAC astronaut Yang Luwei became the first Chinese man in space, which, along with his achievements as a major general and a military pilot, is an incredible thing by anyone's standards. However, despite making history, what Yan heard on his maiden voyage to space on the Shenzhou 5 spacecraft has overshadowed this achievement, because, whilst all alone in the vast expanse of space, Yan heard a repeated knocking on the body of his ship. So whilst a knocking sound may not be something to write home about, you have to bear in mind that space is a vacuum in which, or at the very least, should not travel. So for Yan to hear this unexpected knocking sound on his ship would have been a highly confusing and worrying situation to be in. But naturally, as anybody would, Yan needed to identify where the sound was coming from, because he couldn't discern whether it was coming from inside the ship or outside of the ship. So he checked instrument panels, and he checked fittings and fixtures, and he looked out the porthole, but he could find nothing to confirm what this knocking sound was. And even when he tried to recreate this sound that he says was similar to a wooden mallet being hit against a metal bucket, he was unable to do so. Whilst the story probably has a simple explanation, for example, a section of the ship may have come apart and was hitting an area that he couldn't see, or, as his colleague Wei Seng So speculates, the ship may have been expanding and compressing as temperatures changed rapidly around it, causing this knocking sound as a side effect. But whether the sound was mechanical or some kind of fault, or there really was someone or something asking to be let into the ship, the whole experience for Yan, and also subsequent Chinese astronauts who also heard the sound in 2005 and 2008, whilst all alone in space, as far away from home, as far away from your own planet as you could possibly get, would have been a highly unnerving experience. The final story I have for you today is called the Cylindrical Ufo. In 1991, Russian cosmonaut Musa Manarov was working as a flight engineer aboard the Soyuz TM-4 spacecraft, something he had done many times before. As he was going about his duties, he noticed a Progress cargo ship docking at the nearby Mir space station. With this not being a necessarily regular occurrence, Manarov took out a camera and started filming. But what he caught on film wasn't just the docking of a cargo ship, because he also filmed, potentially, an alien spacecraft. So Manarov claims, as the video also suggests, that from within the Progress cargo ship, which is an unmanned vessel, a shiny, cylindrical shaped craft appeared, moved away from the ship with a spinning motion, and then began circling the Mir space station. At first he thought it was a piece of the cargo ship having detached, which seems to be a scarily common thing for astronauts to assume that ship parts are just coming off left, right and centre. But after confirming that that wasn't the case, he was left baffled as to exactly what he had seen circling the Mir space station. And so, of course, it is believed by many that this cosmonaut had documented some of the most compelling evidence of alien life existing ever. Well guys, that brings me to the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments below for me, and I'll see you next time.